Have you ever heard a story where a princess kisses a frog and he turns into a prince? Well, today's story is a little different, but just as magical. It's a tale from a faraway village nestled at the foot of a great mountain, about a love so powerful it could change shapes and break curses. In this village lived a poor farmer with his daughter. She wasn't a princess in a castle, but her beauty and kindness were known throughout the land. She was gentle and hardworking, spending her days helping her parents in the fields, her hands calloused but her heart soft. Her favorite task was herding the family's buffaloes, guiding them to lush pastures near the edge of a deep, mysterious forest. She knew each buffalo by name, their habits, their moods. They were her quiet companions. One sunny afternoon, as she was watching the herd graze, something extraordinary happened. The largest of the buffaloes, a magnificent creature with horns that curved like a crescent moon and a coat as black as midnight, lifted its heavy head and looked directly at her. She had always felt a strange connection to this particular animal, a sense of wisdom in its dark, soulful eyes. But she never expected what came next. In a deep, rumbling voice that seemed to echo from the earth itself, the buffalo spoke. "Dear girl," it said, "please don't be afraid." The girl froze, her heart pounding against her ribs. Was she dreaming? Had the sun muddled her senses? She looked around, but there was no one else there. The voice had come from the buffalo. "I am not an ordinary buffalo," it continued, its voice filled with a profound sadness. "I was once a man, like your father, like the young men in your village. But I was cursed by a powerful fairy who was angered by my pride. She trapped me in this form, and only an act of true love and selfless kindness can break the spell." The girl stared, utterly bewildered. But as she looked into the buffalo's eyes, she saw not the wildness of a beast, but a deep, human-like sorrow. All her fear melted away, replaced by a wave of compassion. She saw a soul trapped, yearning for freedom. She didn't question the magic or the curse. She only saw a being in pain. From that day forward, her world changed. She started to take special care of the big black buffalo. She would bring it the sweetest grass and the freshest water. While the other buffaloes rested, she would sit beside him, stroking his coarse fur and talking to him for hours. She told him about her dreams, her worries, and the simple joys of her day. She sang him quiet songs her mother had taught her. She treated him not as an animal, but as a dear and trusted friend, her confidant. The buffalo, in turn, became her protector. When she was in the fields, he would always stay close. If a wild animal neared, he would stand between it and her, a formidable guardian. His presence was a silent, steady comfort. He would listen to her stories with an unwavering gaze, occasionally letting out a soft rumble, as if in understanding. Her kindness was a balm to his cursed soul, and his loyalty was a shield for her heart. As weeks turned into months and months into years, a tender and unusual bond grew between them. The girl's affection deepened into a love she couldn't explain. She didn't see a buffalo anymore. She saw the gentle spirit within, the kind soul who listened to her without judgment and protected her without question. Back in the village, however, life was moving on. The girl had come of age, and her beauty had not gone unnoticed. Suitors from neighboring villages came to ask for her hand. Her parents, being poor, saw a good match as a way to secure their daughter's future. They finally arranged a marriage for her with a wealthy merchant son. They excitedly told her the news, expecting her to be overjoyed, but her face fell. Her heart sank like a stone. The thought of marrying anyone else, of leaving her quiet life and her buffalo behind, was unbearable. With tears in her eyes but determination in her voice, she stood before her shocked parents. "I cannot marry him," she declared firmly. Her parents were aghast. "What are you saying? This is a wonderful opportunity for you, for our family," her father exclaimed. The girl took a deep breath and said the words that had been growing in her heart. "I will only marry the one I truly love." Her mother softened a little. "And who is this person you love, my dear? You have never spoken of anyone." The girl looked at them, her gaze unwavering. "I will marry the buffalo who has always been kind and loyal to me." Silence fell upon the small hut. Her parents stared at her as if she had lost her mind. Anger and disbelief clouded their faces. "A buffalo," her father roared. "Have you gone mad? You want to bring shame upon this family by marrying an animal." They pleaded, they argued, they threatened, but the girl's resolve was as unshakable as the mountain that loomed over their village. Her heart was set. She knew her love was strange, but it was also the truest thing she had ever felt. Heartbroken by her parents' reaction but certain of her path, she ran from her home. She ran towards the one place she felt understood, towards the forest where her beloved friend was waiting. She found him grazing peacefully by the stream, just as he always was. She went to him, her tears flowing freely now. She wrapped her arms around his massive neck and buried her face in his coarse fur. "They don't understand," she whispered, her voice choked with sobs. "They want me to marry someone else, but my heart belongs only to you." The buffalo stood perfectly still, letting her pour out her sorrow. She looked up at his large, dark face. She saw the same wisdom, the same sadness, the same steady presence that had comforted her for so long. She didn't care about the curse or the spell. She didn't care if he remained a buffalo forever. She gently touched his forehead, her hand trembling slightly. Looking deep into his eyes, she whispered the words that came directly from her soul, with no hope of reward, only pure, unconditional acceptance. "I love you," she said softly. "I love you just as you are." The moment the words left her lips, a brilliant, blinding light erupted from the buffalo. It was as if the sun had fallen from the sky and landed right there in the forest clearing. The light was so bright, the girl had to shield her eyes. A warm, powerful energy pulsed around them, and through the dazzling glow, she saw an incredible transformation taking place. The buffalo's massive form began to shift and shimmer. The black coat dissolved, the horns receded, and the animal shape melted away like wax. The light swirled and coalesced, and when it finally dimmed, a man stood where the buffalo had been. He was tall and handsome, with kind eyes that held the same soulful depth she knew so well. He wore the clothes of a nobleman, but his smile was gentle and warm. He looked at the girl, his face filled with awe and gratitude. "Your love has broken the curse," he said, his voice no longer a deep rumble, but clear and human. "Your selfless, unconditional love has set me free. I am a prince from a kingdom beyond the mountains, and now I am finally myself again." He took her hand, and together they walked back to the village. When the villagers and her parents saw them approaching, they gasped in amazement. The girl, hand in hand with a handsome stranger, explained the miracle that had unfolded. Her parents, seeing the radiant joy on their daughter's face and the noble bearing of the prince, were filled with remorse for their doubt and awe at the power of her love. The girl and the prince were married, and their celebration was the grandest the village had ever seen. They didn't move to a faraway castle. Instead, they chose to live there, in the village at the foot of the mountain. They taught the people to live in harmony with nature, to care for the land and all its creatures with love and gratitude, just as the girl had cared for the buffalo. And for generations to come, when parents in that village would tuck their children into bed, they would tell them the story of the girl who married a buffalo. They would end the tale with the same timeless wisdom. Remember, true love sees beyond appearances. It doesn't look with the eyes, but with the heart, for it touches the soul. Thank you so much for joining me for this beautiful story today. If it touched your heart, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more tales from around the world. We'd love to have you in our community. Until next time, take care.